Hello and welcome to Navigating, a weekly podcast where we talk about how information, media, and other things we consume affect us and our opinions and our culture. In this episode, we are going to talk about Zohran Mamdani, the mayor of New York, and why he resonated with a lot of people outside of New York and how he used social media to his benefits and how that relates to Indian politics, how social media plays a key role in politics, how politicians should use it, what are some of the differences between the Indian cities like Mumbai and Delhi and Bangalore and New York. It was a fun conversation. I enjoyed this episode. I hope you do too. And before you move on, I request you to subscribe. All right, towards the episode. Okay, but we have to get straight into it because I'm excited to talk about this. So I know the thumbnail title is going to be "You Don't Mess with the Zohran" because anyone who has seen this film, "You Don't Mess with the Zohan." This is a movie of Adam Sandler, and it's a comedy movie, and it's a hilarious movie.
Yeah.
And I think the title is so apt because we are going to talk about Zohran Mamdani, who is making all these headlines. So, Vedan, I'll just come straight to you. Tell us who he is, why is he famous? Just give us some context so that we can discuss further.
Like most of the people must have seen or come across him, unless you have a really niche algorithm like one of our friends. You have probably seen him in a
Yeah.
reel this week where he ended his victory speech by walking out to the Dhoom song and quoting our former Prime Minister, Jawaharlal
Jawaharlal
Nehru.
Nehru, yeah.
Yeah. So, to give some context to him, he is the first South Asian mayor of Muslim mayor of New York City. He is a Muslim. He is the son of Indian origin parents who was born in Uganda and then he later on moved to New York City. He ran for the mayor, for the post of the mayor of the New York City. When he started his campaign or when he announced his candidacy in 2024, nobody knew about him because he was not that well known. He was not the person that people knew in politics. So when he actually started out his campaign, there was like the everyone gave him 1% chance of winning the elections. He was the lowest among all the candidates that were contesting. He did not have any backing from the billionaires or from the rich for his campaign. So what he did was he started out from the from the bottom, basically. He focused his entire campaign on the issues that the working class of New York was facing. He started talking about the freezing rent. He started talking about the childcare costs. He started talking about the need for affordable groceries and the expensive public transport and everything, which actually resonated with everyone in New York City. He started asking for small donations. He started his campaign roaming across the streets of New York and being accessible to every citizen in the city. And then, of course, the main part of his campaign was that he focused it completely around the youth and something that the Gen Z could relate to because all of the traditional politicians that we know of in India or that were his oppositions were actually, talking about issues or were supporting the billionaires or the Trumps that the youth that nowadays are against it. So what helped his cause was that he talked about the issues that none of these politicians or none of his oppositions were talking about, and that resonated directly with the youth. Slowly, his popularity began to grow. People started campaigning for him themselves because they felt so connected to him. And recently, after he won, there was also a report came from Forbes that 26 billionaires actually spent
Yeah.
22 million dollars to stop him from winning. But the irony is that he himself actually asked people to stop donating when his campaign reached the limit of $8 million that
Right.
is allotted to every single candidate. So all of these things that he did to resonate with the working class, with the youth and talking about the issues that actually resonate with the people instead of speaking about uh, religion, or right now in the US, when the policies are, very anti-immigrants, when the people in charge are actually focused on taking out people who are, not whites out of America and all of that, his issues as an immigrant and as a Muslim guy resonated with people because they actually believed that he could actually do this because he is not the traditional person that these politicians
Uh,
stand for. So all of this worked in his favor, and of course, he won the elections and is now the mayor of New York City.
it was particularly impressive because I mean he's a Muslim, and I think there were a lot of attacks on him as well from
Yes.
the, I mean, maybe from the opposition or at least people who didn't support him and are racist in their own, in their own terms. They were talking about how he belongs to this terrorism religion, and even I think Charlie Kirk also tweeted a lot of times about him, talking about how it's a hostile takeover of the city and other things. So in that as well, he maintained his role and his points, and he didn't stoop down to what the opposition was saying about him, and kept on talking about what he will do and what is necessary. And I think that was refreshing because a lot of times even good politicians have to go defensive because the attacks from the opposition are just so ridiculous that they have to either answer it or people start to think that maybe it could be true. So that was also great. And the two questions that I wanted to discuss were, first, how did you get to know about him? Because he's from New York and he's not even running for being a president or in the Senate, or he's not a main political figure, but he's running for, or he is now a governor. He won the race for the governor of New York, but still almost entire world knows about him now. And why do people know about him? How did you get to know him? And why do we care, or why was it why is he talked about so much in circles where people exist like us, who who maybe belong to a certain kind of I think, I wouldn't say community, but like a certain kind of demographic, maybe like us. So yeah, we can just start with Zoya.
Yeah, so Vedant said that he appealed to a lot of people from the working class, and that's how he, got that popularity and how he won the election. But also, one thing, in addition to this, what he did was he spoke to the very vibrant culture of New York, which was, trans people or feminists or even the younger, very young generation, all of these people. So this is what New York is, right? The image
A
of New York
melting
that we
pot,
have
as they
in our
say.
mind.
A
Sorry.
melting pot of cultures and
Right,
Right.
religion
exactly.
and
So yes, exactly. So this cultural vibrancy that New York has, I think this is exactly what Zoran targeted. And the way that I saw, I got to know about him was because I follow one of these trans people pages, and he was in a collab with them. And this is like way
yeah.
back, like when he just started campaigning, and he was in a collab reel with them where they were asking him questions. And it was just a very candid conversation, which I've never really seen any politician do before, with a community which is a minority everywhere,
Mm.
and people are constantly restricting themselves from speaking to them or about them or in on behalf of them. So you usually don't see all of these things happening uh, in a political sense. So that was refreshing for me when I saw a candidate for mayor who's running for a New York mayor candidacy, and he's talking to trans people, and he's talking to these Gen Z pages that are there. So that was the first time that I realized that okay, this is something different. Also because he's really young, he's like 34, 35, I think. So
Yeah.
that was also really refreshing because Cuomo, I mean, all of his other people who he was competing against, they're actually really old. And I think that has been a reputation before also, that mostly the people who run for these places, they are older people, like at least 45 plus, I think.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing to watch, and he made sure that he used that to his advantage. Like, he was not talking to the older generation, even if the campaigning till this date has been that way. He made sure that he was appealing to the age that he knows he will connect with. So he was talking to all of these people, he was talking to youngsters. And one more thing that I really loved about his campaign was that people from literally all walks of life were canvassing for him. I also saw blind people do it. There were deaf people who were doing canvassing for him. So literally every single minority that is usually they don't bat an eye to them. You don't really consider them in
Right.
the general sense. The all of these people were also included in this canvassing, and he did a great job at it, because I even saw a lot of his like reels and videos on Instagram where he was talking in different languages also. Like, he was talking in his entire campaign obviously was in English, but he was also talking in Arabic. He was talking in I think
Hindi as well. He did
yeah, he
videos in
spoke
Hindi.
to, yes, exactly. So he was talking to every immigrant, every minority, all of these people who are a part of New York, and not just Americans. I think that is why it made
Yeah.
so much sense. And I also have a point about his branding that he did. So I just I was studying how he ran all of his campaign, and one of the things that really stood out was how his logo, Zoran for New York City, that logo was designed. So it is a mix of yellow, red, and blue. The blue, which
Yeah.
is American blue, but it's just enough vibrant that it does not feel like the
Uh,
typical American blue. And also red and yellow, which are very New York colors, like red as the taxi, and sorry, yellow as the taxi color, and red as this vibrant kind of New York culture color. And the
uh,
font also that he used is very retro, and also a kind of hand drawn sort of sense that it has to it, where it sort of represents the delis and restaurants that are run by the
uh,
immigrants in New York City. So this particular font also that he used, this color scheme that he used, it also indirectly or like subconsciously it connects with you, because you've seen it around New York so many times. You know these colors, you know this font that you've seen around, so you kind of directly
uh,
connect with it. And I think that was also a huge part. His wife, who's also an artist, she was a contributor to this brand identity, and she made sure that that is what came
mm,
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And so I think so. Vedan works in PR and you work in advertisement. And I know I didn't send you before recording this episode that I will ask you this, but I just want to ask you if you take in your experience or whatever you know about your own field, what do you think work? Because, of course, when you are a politician, you have to work in both industries. It's PR, individually, it's PR, like what you advertise whatever you want to do for people and also how you advertise yourself. So just let me know that as well, like from your angle, from your industry angle, what do you think worked for him? Or
So,
not even work for him, like I want to know what do you think worked for you, because like why did you think that he is someone worthy to follow, who is a person who has no relation to us, or who is not going to affect our country in any shape or form, at least for now. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So just one point about the logo that it actually also really appealed to me because it felt very quirky. It did not feel corporate. Like, it was not a very neat and clean font or something. It was a bit messy, you could say, but it really appealed to me. So I really resonated with that as well. Coming to your point, I'll just tell you how I came across Zoran. So I came across him on Twitter, and that was basically because he was talking about the things that no other politicians actually dare to talk about. So, for example, he was publicly talking against Benjamin Netanyahu, who is the best friend of the president of his own country, Donald Trump. He was talking that if, I mean, the news journalists were asking him, would you arrest Netanyahu if he comes into New York? Now, as we all know, everyone in the US government backs Israel's genocide of Palestine, and they openly support it. They avoid all the questions related to that. But there is this one guy who is openly
Yeah.
saying that if he steps foot into New York, he would arrest him because the international court has a warrant issued against him and they follow that. So no matter what Donald Trump says, no matter what any of the members of the Senate say, this guy actually said that. So that is one thing. Now, coming to the PR part of it, I think he went against traditional PR. Like, he was not talking about the things that Donald Trump stands for or everyone stands for. He actually completely flipped the narrative. He observed what the youth or what his target demographic is actually aware about and talking about, and he made sure to bring out all of those points and appeal to all of those journalists. Now, we saw this in India when before the last elections, our prime minister, he sat down with the gamers of the country to talk about gaming, and that appealed to a lot of the youth. Then he also does that with sports and everything, where it sits down with the teams and talks to them so that it appeals to the people that, hey, this candidate is actually also interested in what we are interested in, like gaming or sports or music and stuff like that. So that is exactly what Mamdani also did. You could see him partying in New York. You could see reels of him where he is dancing with the DJ, or you can see reels of him talking with the people, giving candid interviews where the people are actually asking him questions like, hey, this is our problem. What would you do to solve it? And he's giving candid answers. And all of that is being spread on social media. So he used social media, he used TikTok, he used Instagram, he used all of the available platforms to spread his agenda and to show people that he actually is your guy. He is one of you and he is fighting for you. That is something that worked in his favor. And he also
Yeah.
talked about football. He constantly, talked about how he's an Arsenal supporter.
Yeah.
He talked about the ticket prices, which are ridiculously high for the upcoming World Cup, which
FIFA
will
World
be
Cup.
held in
Yeah.
the USA. Yeah. So basically, he also went against the billionaires. He said that they should be taxing the rich. So he analyzed what the youth is concerned about. The awareness about all of this compared to earlier times is very high right now due to social media. People are aware about all of these things and they're affected by all of these things. And he made sure that he talks about these things which none of the other his competitors are talking about. He also openly in debate, he owned all of his competitors, as you could see in all of those reels. And he also specifically talked about the allegations against his opponent Cuomo, the sexual harassment allegations. And as you know, people nowadays are more aware about this due to social media and they are affected by it. And whenever someone like this openly talks out, whenever all of us from this generation or maybe from this people who have this ideology, we want to see the people in power or celebrities actually take a stance on these issues which are important or have an opinion. But most of the times they just refrain from commenting on it, like Sydney Sweeney in her interview, she just said, no, I when I want to talk about it, I'll talk about it. But when someone actually talks about these issues which others refrain from talking about because they are afraid that maybe their funding might be taken away from billionaires. If you speak ill of this brand, if you speak ill of this person, you will burn bridges with them, and then in the future they won't be of any use to you. But Mamdani actually did not care about it, at least in his campaign. He talked about everything that we care about, and that is why I think he came across as someone that is very appealing and someone that even a person in India would vote for if they had the chance. So that is why his campaign worked. And of course, that is how I came across him, because he was talking a lot about football and these issues that I regularly follow. And that is why I think he reached a lot to the world, because he used social media in the right way for his campaign.
Yeah, and I think his messaging was very constant because, like you said, even he talked about Modi, and someone asked, like, would you host Modi? And he said, I won't host Modi because, the way he treats minorities in India and, authoritarian government. So, I mean, again, this is a subjective part, like what you think if is Modi authoritarian or not. But like you said, like he was speaking about things that no one was speaking about, and he was very consistent with it. Whereas we see a lot of politicians go and talk about specific issues in those areas and then talk completely differently in some other area. And then it's like, what do you stand for? And that there's just one thing that whatever my party stands for, that is what I am here for. But then this guy was not that, and this guy was actually talking about a lot of things that we see people struggle in our own cities as well, whether it's about rent, whether it's about affording a decent house wherever you work. And I think there was this one post that I saw that if you can't afford a house within like I think 4 or 5 kilometers around your office, then that means that you're not paid well. And it's true for a lot of areas. Like we can't afford housing when we work, and that's why I think that also resonated with me. But yeah, we just I'll come to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you guys are saying, what he did was he was talking about the real issue, and I think it makes more sense because the age group that he was trying to target, or at least like let's say it's people like us, like 25, 30-ish people who are very tired of listening to diplomatic answers from politicians. And he was being very straight whenever he was asked a question. He was not trying to bounce it off. He addressed it and he gave his opinion without the worry of consequences. And I think that is the main part of like main reason why he got so many votes is because he was not afraid to talk about it. And every time that he was asked a difficult question like that, he made sure that he answered it, and then he also made sure that he got his point forward. So when you are asked a difficult question, any politician or any figure like this, when they're asked a difficult question like this, there are two responses that they might give. First thing is they dodge it off and they say that I'm not here to answer this, I'll rather talk about my campaign. And the second way to do it is they just give a diplomatic answer that's really hard to decipher.
Yeah,
So
and
they'll say something.
it's
Yeah.
exhausting and no one really answers the question. And also, but I'll just why I interrupted, because I think that he knew that there are going to be consequences to these answers, but he knew that the people who are going to vote for me, I can't make everyone happy. And a lot of politicians try to do that. They try to make everyone happy, but he knew that there are these particular people who are never going to vote for me even if I talk about their problems, because they're already convinced about the Republican issues and they really hate immigrants and whatever it is. But he knew that there is a vast chunk of audience that perhaps might change and who are on the fence. So I think he was talking about people who were on the fence, two people who were on the fence. And even when it comes to us, I think he knew that, or like he didn't know, but in India there are a lot of people who like you said, are tired of politicians not really giving good answers, are tired of politicians not taking accountability and not talking straight about the issue. But he was doing that and it felt refreshing. That's the word I kept using every time we talked about him, that it was so refreshing to see someone just come out and talk about these things. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he really knew his audience very well. He understood, like you said, he was not afraid of consequences because he knew that if he got enough people on his side, if he made sure that he talked about real issues, because New York is filled with immigrants. People from all cultures are living over there, and he knew exactly what to do with them because all of this time, like no matter what kind of state you're running in, no matter what city you're running in, you like the problem that politicians usually talk about are very macro level, not
Yeah,
really micro into the the very local problems that people have, but these local problems are actually why people suffer,
yeah.
and these macro level problems are what they think about.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
there is a difference between that, and what politicians constantly have been doing, or still a lot
yeah.
of politicians do, is they try to try to make this try to create this narrative where they convince people that these micro level problems are not important, these macro level problems are
Yeah.
important, and you should constantly think about this, and this is where the change should happen so that your life becomes easier. But that's not the case.
Mm.
And we know that, you know, for us Indians, maybe the potholes on our streets are the main problem for accidents, but the politicians are never going to address it. They'll always tell us that, you know, culture, religion, traditions, all of these things are what they talk about. So that is where Zohran did really well, because no matter what question he was asked, I watched a lot of his videos. No matter where he was, no matter who he was talking to, no matter what question he was asked, he constantly made sure that he's talking about rent freeze. He was talking about free healthcare, about you know, free buses, and all of his campaign was so this is the advertising part of it. He was constantly hammering that we are doing this for you. When you
Yeah.
vote for Zoran, you are going to get free buses. When you vote for Zoran, you are going to get a rent freeze. And he made sure that everyone is talking about these issues. And this is a huge thing, because unfortunately we have settled for politicians not talking about our real issues for a long time now. And he also, I
Yeah.
think he also said in one of his speeches that I think it's time that we don't settle for the lesser evil, and we actually, you know,
Yeah.
take what is, like, take what the greater good is. So
And
he was talking about these issues. He
yeah.
was talking about how like whatever has been happening till this time is not relevant to us anymore, and this is the new age. And
Yeah.
that was refreshing. So
Yeah.
that is why people were so excited to vote. There was excitement. I've never seen this kind of excitement for a candidate of like
Yeah.
New York City mayor. That's so crazy. People have been
And
talking about him everywhere.
the meme was so funny that you shared on your story. I think like everything is happening in New York. I want to be there. I want to vote for Mamdani. Like this was the but yeah, lastly, like I said, yeah, what was the point? Yeah, yeah. So the Mumbai is not really that different than New York. And the thing is that our politicians are nowhere at a level where they talk sense in Mumbai, and it's the same thing. There are like same issues. The public transport is overcrowded, housing is an issue, people sleep on the streets, there is an immigrant issue, immigration issue, not immigrant issue, immigration issue. And like the Jew community that talked about him, like okay, he's racist towards Jews. The Hindu community is the same thing, right? If a Muslim candidate rises up in Mumbai, there's going to be a huge backlash, and opposition is going to talk about how this guy is just going to take control over Mumbai and stuff. But yeah, hopefully, like we do need someone to talk about the real issues in Mumbai and leave out the rest of Maharashtra, or even small towns in Pune. Like at least solve something in the big cities like Bangalore or Mumbai or even Delhi. But yeah,
Yeah, one
uh,
more thing that I wanted
yeah,
to say was that how this social media thing works is that when a politician is running for a seat, some like he will do his campaigning, they will you know, put out videos and stuff like that. But then there are a set of people that will go digging, and they will find something from his past, and then
yeah,
that thing will resurface. That has happened a countless times till now. And the best thing about Zoran is that his digital footprint is crazy. Like when some people like this, you know, these diggers, they went back and they found stuff online that Zohran has posted. There was a rap video about his
yeah,
grandmother, and you know, there were really crazy things. And I think that is the candid part of his campaign again, because
yeah,
he
could
was just
be.
unapologetic about it. He has been doing protests. He has been doing you know, he has been, even for Bernie Sanders, he had done a lot of work back then. And all of this was on social media, and he I don't know how much role he played in it, but a lot of things did resurface and they played in his favor again. Like
Yeah,
that
again,
was
because like
another thing.
people were looking at him as a common person, because yeah, I mean people have fun. And another candidate was Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, like 3 4 years ago, and there's a documentary where there was a group that selected people from the working class and she was a waitress in a cafe or something. And then they selected her because she interviewed or something, or her brother put her name down, and then they trained her. They put her up against again, like traditional politicians in the election, and she talked about how wages must be up, and she talked about working class issues. And now she is like a big name, and probably people are also talking about how she might run for the president eventually. But like, when you take people from the streets, it's going to work for the first time. I don't know if it will work for the second time, because now they have already been in the government and people will find ways to criticize them. But like, this angle won't work, like, okay, I'm with you, because you're not part of us now, you're part of the
Mm.
government. But the first time, it can work, it will work, because people feel like this is a person like me who will talk about my own issues. But again, the audience also has to be that way. I think it
Mm.
was a right time when New Yorkers were thinking about these micro issues, and like you said, macro issues were not really their concern right now, because they felt that this president is just hammering these issues and I don't really face those issues, whatever he's talking about. And this is a similar thing in India as well. Like, when the public will start focusing on micro issues, they will perhaps then resonate with someone like him, who, is talking about their problems. I would like to come to the social media thing very lastly. So social media has always played a role when in politics. I think that's how BJP also got an edge in 2014-15. These are the theories. Like, they utilize social media, and Congress had no idea how to do that. And social media has a good angle, which Zohran Mamdani, of course, used for himself. Like, it spread like wildfire, and people like us also got to know about him. But there's also another angle for social media, where paid meme pages and smear campaigns and we know that IT cells exist for all the parties, who always take some information, wrap it up in a box of misinformation and selective information, and then send it across WhatsApp channels, YouTube, social media, and everything. So I want to know, how do you think social media is going to play a role after this in Indian elections? And not just for us, people like us who are like privileged, educated, and other things, but also for the entirety of India, because we live in a complete different India. We have almost, I think, people talk about we have two Indias or three Indias, but I think there are four, five, six Indias, because there's like this one top 0.01% who live like the Scandinavian countries in castles. There's like the 1 to 4% people who live in South Bombay and the premium areas in Delhi. Then there are people like us. Then there are people who are below us in income level and education. And then there are two other Indias where people don't have food to eat, or they live on the street. So this is like a big gap, but everyone actually has a phone, because even if you stop at a signal and there's a transgender women usually comes to ask money, and they have phones now as well, and they ask for money. I said I don't have cash, so she said, should I give you a scanner? Like, would you scan and then give me? And then I was actually confused, and I am not a very smart person, I don't have street smart, so I didn't know what to say in that moment, and I just said no, I mean that. But then I realized, oh, okay, she was asking like, you scan and then pay me money, whatever you want. So it's like phones are everywhere. Everyone has phones now, and social media is an amazing way to reach to them if you want to put your point across. But because there are these four, five Indias, you can't really speak in English or in Hindi or in Marathi, or and again there are different ways. If you are like a posh Marathi speaker, you may not resonate with the like almost 75% of Maharashtra. If you are not a very posh Marathi speaker or an English speaker, you may not resonate with someone who is living in South Bombay or who is living in the premium areas of Pune. So how do you think this is going to be? And yeah, we can start with Vedant, or you can start with Zoe and then come to Vedant.
Yeah, okay. So I think I'll give an example here. You said that how all of this, we have so many different languages, we have so many different Indias. But I'd like to come back to my point where I said that the macro level and micro level problems are different. So one thing that happened recently was the vote chori thing that Congress did. So they were talking about how there have been a lot of votes that are going around, and some of them are fake, and all of those things. So I think they were trying to win credibility from the people who are probably supporting BJP or any other party like opposition to Congress, and they were trying to get them to their side. But when you think about it, this vote chori thing does not directly affect me. So that is
Yeah,
the problem that
yeah,
India. So that is the problem that India is facing currently. That we are constantly talking about things that feel like they affect us, but they don't really. So
directly. Yeah, they don't directly affect
they
us.
don't directly
Exactly.
affect
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
So I think that is the first approach that
Hmm.
politicians should start taking when they're canvassing or campaigning for their for any seat. That they should talk, and not I'm not saying only talk about it, but passionately talk about those problems,
Yeah.
the problems which the local community that they're trying to lead. I think they should very passionately make sure that these problems are the one that they will solve and talk about, and make sure that they go into the deeper level
Hmm.
insights, the actual problems that people are facing. Then, of course, there are problems everywhere. So I think if they focus really on the local issues that people are facing, people will understand that yes, this person is going to bring about a change, and they will do that. And this will only be done through social media. The second point that I want to come to is that we have discussed in our previous podcast also that um we have a lot of information that comes in through social media. So when you do enough, when like what BJP did in their election, what they did was that they just put out so much content online. There
Yeah.
was so much reposting, there was so much content that people were only being bombarded by BJP, like everything was that. And that brings about, of course, like obviously that is going to create an unconscious a kind of memory in my brain that I think I might have to like vote for BJP. Now this works for the people who are not as informed about like other things, so that works for them. So but also like the other point in all of this is that with all of this information, people's attention span has become very low. So only this hammering is going to work. So all of this hammering like combined with the local issue narrative, I think that works great. That can work wonders
No.
for Indian politicians who are actually trying to bring about change. But I don't think that has started as of yet for us. And if it is done in that manner where it actually connects with the people, it can happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there is a lot of um, there is a lot of build up that has yet to happen for that thing to work out also. So New York started from a certain point, and we are yet to reach that also.
Hmm.
So there is still a gap, and then when this starts, then we can still become what New York has now become. Like they got Mamdani, and they got what they're actually looking for. But there is a gap in India that still has to be filled, which I don't know how to. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think about all of this.
So, yeah, I mean, just coming to this point, I think we have a long way to go. Like, there is a huge gap between like what's happening in New York and what's happening in India right now. Because one of my friends told me that there has been no election in the BMC municipality, I think, for the past 9 years. For like, so we don't even have elections and we are not even aware about what's going on in our municipality or stuff like that. Do we even think about having someone like Zoran here or having someone talk about these issues? Because we are now in such, by we, I mean Indians, and our leaders are in such a comfort zone here right now that they have no actual need of even no one has the need to talk about these issues. And if someone even comes along to talk about these issues, he will be like trampled upon and he will be silenced in no time. So, like, we are way, way behind, and we are like, there is a huge gap between all of that. But that doesn't mean that people here or leaders here are not trying to appeal or talk about. Or trying to resonate with the Gen Z, because as I said earlier, the Prime Minister, like the BJP government, despite what it has done, It has actually, because the industry that I work in is gaming and esports, they're actually supporting that, which is a very youth-centric thing. And none of the previous governments even acknowledged, because until then it was under the banner of online gaming. Now they have banned online money games like Dream 11 and stuff like that. So they do things for the youth, but it's just like, as you said, it's not our main concern right now or our main priority right now. It is one of the issues that could be tackled on way earlier in the phase 3 or 4. Right now, actually, the things that matter are not being addressed, which can be through social media. So coming to social media, every political party has its own IT cell. I don't know if you guys are that active on Twitter, but on Twitter, any random account now, because Musk has made it easier for anyone to get a blue tick. So everyone is just posting their opinions for engagement, and a lot of these IT cells, they just post things related to their political parties, or they talk bad about the opposition to just get engagement, and that of course pays them in the long run. So, but this is just for people like us who are aware that this is just for bait or something. The normal people who are not that media literate, they see these tweets and they take it for what it is. They do not actually think about or research about, or what this is, if this is true, or if this is false. They do not do that. And so we have a lot of IT cells on social media. Uh, Parties pay influencers now to talk about, but that is not that direct. It is very subtle, where they try to send out messaging in a very subtle format or in a very storytelling format that people grasp, but they actually do not realize that this is agenda or if this is paid or not. Now, all of this happens on social media. We are aware about it. A lot of people are not. But the one thing that I am glad for is because we get to know about a lot of stuff that we would not have without social media, because the ruling party controls the mainstream media so much that so many of the issues that we get to know about, may it be because the opposition party is talking about it, or may it be that the influencers paid by the opposition party are talking about it, whatever it is. But you can take the example recently of a journalist who died mysteriously because he was talking about he was an independent YouTube
Hospital, yeah,
journalist
he was talking about
talking about the hospitals. Yeah, he
illegal
died. But
things in hospital, yeah.
yeah, we would not have got to know about it if it wasn't for social media or the outrage on social media. So I feel glad that we have social media right now, and we have political parties or their oppositions using it, because just for this one very reason, that they do it just so they can diminish the credibility of the opposition, but it works for us because we get to know about these things happening in the rural parts of India, which we have no other means of actually finding out, because the mainstream media actually very focuses on it very less compared to what we get to know about through these independent journalists, or someone like Sandesh going to the rural parts, asking the people about what their opinion is, why they actually vote for these people, and what their livelihood is like. A lot of us who consume our news online, it is a boon for us, which we have probably let go of traditional print media or traditional TV media, because it is a circus now. So, yeah, I mean, that is one thing that I am actually glad for, and that is how it is going to change politics in India going forward. But again, it also actually matters that who is talking about what issues, and if they're actually utilizing it in the right way or for the right reasons. Because as we see, this vote chori thing, it is a very big scam that is happening right now, but the entire opposition and their alliances have clutched onto that one thing when it is clearly not working, or it is not affecting, or there is nothing being done about it. And there are hundreds of different things that they could actually talk about. But if you actually go to the social media pages of Congress or of BJP, they actually try to post memes, or they actually try to grasp onto the trends that are going on recently on social media, and they try to make fun of the opposition, or they try to talk about these issues. I have seen Congress talk about a lot of things that the BJP government is doing wrong and which affect us, but that does not pick a lot of traction. Even the BJP government
Yeah,
does that
and it
about.
is good for
Uh,
fun. And I see a lot of comments below those reels as well, like admin should get a raise, and
yeah,
it was like I didn't know it was from the official account. So it's all. But I think if the I don't know. I mean, of course, we are being selective because we have just consumed that content. But if the political parties are treating social media as that, then that's not good. Like, okay, Instagram is just about posting memes and trends so that I
yeah,
come in the conversation with the youth. And that really, yeah, I mean, there was one point that Zohran Mamdani made, that why it worked for him using social media in certain ways. He said that, we have to stop saying that this guy is bad and actually start saying what I am going to do for you. And this is what we see on social media from Congress and BJP pages, at least the main pages, where they talk about how this guy is bad, how this party is corrupt, and then the other party also talks about the same thing. So if really someone wants to use social media in the right way and actually want to change, I think, yeah, and there are good people in the government, otherwise our country wouldn't have been
yeah,
working. They just don't come in front of the camera, or we just don't know how they work. But if there is a upcoming politician, I think then he needs to hire a team that actually cares about making a change or bringing in a change, and then do a video in a local language, do a video in English, do a video in Hindi, because whatever someone from USA does, it has to happen three times in India because of local language, the nationally accepted Hindi language, and then the English language, so that people from the other side who still see as if someone is talking in English, he is more credible. That mentality is still there in a lot of people. So you have to talk with them as well. So I think that's the task ahead. That yeah,
And also,
yeah,
like, just to interrupt you there,
yeah,
uh, you said that Congress and BJP and a lot of, like, whatever political parties are there in India, they try to work with trends and memes, and they try to deliver like messages which are in opposition to their to whatever their opposition party are doing, and they make a meme out of it. They make fun out of it. But one thing that Zoran did right was that when you think about it, doing memes is also a part of the current social media culture. But Zoran's campaign without memes was also a part of the current social media culture,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that is because he made use of formats,
Mm,
and he did not mock the other. So his format was the way that he shot videos, was the way that he made fun of himself. Really,
yeah,
there was some video where, so he has a habit of talking with his hands, where he's constantly going
yeah,
like this.
yeah,
So his social media team told him that you're using too much of your hands. So he made fun of himself, and he said that, okay, so my team has told me not to use hands anymore, so I'm putting them in my pocket, and I'm going to deliver the same message to you. He's saying the same thing, he's just using
yeah,
different formats, which are fun, because so meme culture it works great for us because it's relatable. And when a candidate like him is funny, and he's accepting his mistakes, and like saying funny stuff about himself, he becomes relatable. So you don't have to make a meme out of your opposition where you're just making fun of yourself, and it's just all in good. Like, it's in everyone is just having fun in all of this, and yet like whatever message that he's trying to pass is being delivered also. So that was
yeah,
one thing that I actually also liked about him, that like you said, Amnish, he was not making fun of anyone. He was just doing his own campaign, but the way that he did it was still very social media friendly,
yeah,
was still very Gen Z friendly, and it ranked also higher in all of the algorithms, because you don't have to make a meme for that.
yeah, of
You
course.
just have to make a very engaging video.
Yeah, and this is just lastly, like this is what people actually get wrong in the creator community as well. They feel that it's about cracking that algorithm and doing all these things that will make my reel go up, but it's actually about how well do you talk with your own audience, and they will share your reel to everyone, and that's the real hack. Like you have to talk with your people and resonate with them, and I think just that good politicians in India, they then need to, I think they need to come in front of the camera. They need to explain the system to people. They need to explain how this works, how, instead of making fun of someone, I would then rather ask the candidate to uh, describe why that person is wrong, like why things don't work this way. So even if he's talking about maybe I can't make the buses free, for example, because this or the Congress has done for the last 70 years. So a lot of politicians will make fun of that statement, but instead of that they should explain like why this is not the case. And I blame the news organizations also. I'll just share a personal story. So I was in a press conference, and the politician was also the president of a cricket board. So he did the conference, and the conference was for cricket, and it was like for 15-16 minutes. And after that, the entirety of media just encircled him, and they I think they covered the background as well, so no one will know that it was a cricket conference. And then they started asking him questions about politicians. So this guy said this about you. What is your reaction on it? I think what a pathetic bunch of loser journalists. And I don't really like to use my judgmental words on someone on camera, of course, but these were just losers, man. I mean, yes, they have bills to pay. Yes, you need to run your family, but just don't do it. This is not going to help anyone. It's just entertainment for people who just watch news in the morning, and they said, oh, this guy said that, this guy said that. I mean, it's just so disappointing, but this is where social media plays so much, like a huge importance in any candidate who is now going to stand up. Use that, man. Use that in the right way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, just to conclude, because anything that happens in America, it is just trending worldwide. Everyone is eventually aware about it. But like, I think we also need to start being aware about the young politicians in our country, like the Zorans of India. There is one guy named Anish Gawande who I've been following since a long time. He
Mm,
actually speaks a lot of sense. He is a young politician from the NCP. He often talks about the things that the ruling party does, which are idiotic, and he actually gives rational reasons, and he actually resonates with a lot of the youth. So I think we also need to start following our own politicians in that way and see who is coming up, and then of course use social media to maybe support them if you want, or try to question them if what you feel is wrong and stuff like that. So we should also start doing that in India as well, because now Zoran is done, like his campaign is done. Now he'll be judged by his actions, whether he actually delivers based on that. But now we have to look in our own country as well. So I think that is something that we can also start to do.
yeah. 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 I think we are done. Zui's camera is off. I don't know if it's an error or not. Yeah.
She's done.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you for joining me. This was a fun episode. I hope that we can do more episodes where you bring in your PR experience, or talk about that aspect of the topic, and Zui talks about the advertisement and bringing in attention, and how attention is also a commodity now. That aspect as well. I think it would be much more fun conversations. Thank you. We are done. And I think if you like this episode, of course, subscribe, and we will meet until next time. Thank you for listening to this episode. I am truly grateful. If you haven't yet subscribed, I request you to do so. I also request you to comment or reach out to me if you want us to discuss something what you like. You can also DM me on Instagram. My handle is navigating_convocast. I also post facts on media and information ecosystem over there, and how it has shaped humanity since ages. I also post explainers on this YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that as well. Alright, that's it. Until next time.